Good day. We're behind the shed that needs a good paint, and it's an area that I'm trying to keep clear, but it's an area that I'm not sure if you can see also needs quite a bit of work in taking out bindweed, which has really been left unchecked for years. Look at that one. So I'm sort of gently trying to tease as much out as I can. That's what I've got out so far, and apart from this little bit of weed here, I would say 99% of that is bindweed root, and it really proliferates. I mean, you can see it here. Look. So I wanted a gentle job this afternoon, and I thought tidying up the bindweed under here is a good start, because if I do that, then it will stop climbing through the ceanothus, because all of this here is dead bindweed that in previous years has climbed through. Clearly I pulled some at one point but not got rid of it, and I think this is another way of just keeping paths clear. You can see this bit of bindweed here. I mean, it's only got to there at the moment, but if I leave that unchecked, it will just climb through here and get all in here, which I don't want it to do. Some of it will, because I'm not going to disturb this area here where we have quite a lot of wildlife, including hedgehogs chundling through. But this bit, yeah, I'm going to get as much of the bindweed out of here as I can. There's Big Ginge there, eating some grass. It's obviously going to be good for its tummy. And these plots are plots next to me, one to the left, one to the right. Really need a huge amount of work doing on both of the plots. What are you saying, Big Ginge? You're saying, I think I'm going to be sick if I eat too much of this grass. What are you saying? What are you saying? Oh, he says, oh, there's a nice bit of grass, yeah. Oh, there's some nice bit of grass there as well. Oh, there's lots of bits of grass. Lots of bits of grass. Come here and have a cuddle. No, he says, no, I'm just going to sit here. I'll sit here for a bit. I quite like hand weeding. Find it quite therapeutic. Doesn't take that long to get the bigger weeds that are developing out. And the ones I missed this time I'll get next time. Just getting some couch grass out. You can always tell with its trailing roots, that trail underground. A little bit there. That'll do for today. I carried on weeding gently for bindweed into this area. This is where I was before, over here. And then when I was doing the weeding in the bed, I was just at the side of me here. This is an area that we leave mainly for wildlife, so it's left like this. Seen hedgehogs under here a few times, quite a few times in fact. There's a den at the back of my 1940 shed, which I think is where most of our hedgehogs come from. I saw hoglets the other day, but they do trundle through this area, and I think it's good to have an area in the middle of your plot that is generally sort of left unkempt. But I just wanted to pull more of the bindweed out from under here. But as I started to do it, I'm not sure if you can see here, but there are ants down here, and I've clearly disturbed a red ant's nest, a UK red ant's nest, and I found out about it when I got bitten by 2 of the ants, and they're really strong formic acid. I mean, strong in UK terms, you know, we only have, I think it's one majorly poisonous living creature other than humans in the UK, and that's adders. I often wonder how people who garden in areas where there are lots of poisonous creatures, spiders and small snakes and things like that, I wonder how you get on, because generally with a pair of gloves on our plots we can just go with our hand into virtually any area and be guaranteed that there won't be anything dangerous in there. An adder is generally going to move away from you anyway. And the most sort of poisonous thing, other than humans, as I say, that we have on this site is these ants, which have really strong formic acid. But yeah, I got bitten, and maybe that's just as well, because I think I need to call it a day for today. But I pulled quite a lot of old bindweed roots out of here, sort of around here, this area, because if I can keep that bindweed down, I'd rather do that. At least I know where one of the ants' nests is this year. I found another one already, but because I moved the covering, they've moved elsewhere. Maybe they moved here, maybe they moved here. Maybe they're getting their own back. Nothing in our red curry squash yet from those that we sowed last week. But if I come over here, a little bit of ground heave, little bit of ground heave, and clearly you can see that coming up there. And over here, from outside, I noticed it coming up here. Ground heave there, 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 and there in our courgettes. So we've got 3 out of the 6 that I sowed initially of the cucumbers already germinating. Not surprisingly, these 6 that were a bit later, nothing in there yet. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 germinating in our courgettes. But as I say, nothing yet in our curry squash. Maybe tomorrow. The old seed cosmos, there's 1, 2, 6, 7 that have germinated. I thought more would germinate. Maybe we'll get more over the coming days. I'll be pricking out these lettuce pretty soon, leaving the rocket to grow on. Nothing in the tomatoes that were sown only the other day, nor in the candelabra, primulas, nor in the parsley. I'm going to leave it there for this first segment of A Week at the Plot. It's Monday afternoon. The sun is coming out in sort of bursts. It's been quite overcast much of the day. A little bit of blue sky being seen through the clouds. And even though it's been relatively bright, it hasn't been sunny in huge expanses like it was last week, and that I think is going to be the rest of the week too. I'm just looking down here between the slabs. There's a few weeds coming up in the greenhouse, so I think I'll finish off doing that weeding here, and maybe a little bit more weeding outside too. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here before the sun comes out. My eyes are always quite sensitive to sun, so I should wear a hat. And of course, I usually wear glasses when I'm not on camera. Right, I will see you very soon for a further segment of A Week at the Plot. What will we be doing? I have no idea. Bye. Good day. I think our red curry squash felt a little hard done by yesterday when I said that they weren't going for it, because there's 2 breaking the ground today, and maybe in there you can see the green of that one coming through. So only 2 germinated, no 3, look, 3 germinated so far, but I'm sure others not too far behind. And these are really going for it now. Yeah, so 100% germination here, because there's that one there, so 100% germination so far there. And what's that? That's 10 out of 12 so far in the courgettes, which is nice. Nothing over here yet, though 1 or 2 of the cosmos have germinated further as well. Well, they haven't germinated further of the cosmos have germinated. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 now. Was it 6 or 7 yesterday, I think? So yeah, let's have a quick look in the poly. The beetroot are germinating pretty well. And as you might be able to see, if I go this way, and you see they're all leaning forward. So they're all leaning forward because that's where most of the light is coming from. So in order to keep them balanced, I turn the tray around. And then of course they sort of go back the other way. But that's good for them. Not surprisingly, nothing in the newly sown spring onions yet. That'll be a few, well, maybe a week or so, if not 2, off, I think. You can most probably hear the rain on the poly. There might have been a little bit when we were in the greenhouse. We had rain overnight last night, which Richard heard, and then it's been a pretty damp day with periods of drizzle, but we've had quite a bit of sunshine this afternoon. It's now coming up to 5 o'clock, and when I started wending my way down here about 15 minutes ago, it was dry. Then I began to feel it spit a bit after about 200 meters, and then after about another 200 meters, so about halfway here, it was really like this. so I got a tad wet, but that's fine, that's fine. Then getting down here, it alleviated. I popped into the greenhouse, did that quick video, popped in here, and then since popping in here and showing you the beetroot, it's really started raining. Sorry, I was overcome. I'm not sure if you can see. Can you see here? There's a dark area just there. I've not noticed that before. I'm wondering if that's a big nest. I'm not sure. Looks pretty dark and big in at the top of a tree. I don't think it's in the big pointy tree. I think it's in a tree in front of that. But yeah, anyway, maybe over the rain and the plane you can't hear me. I don't know. Of course, the thing is, with wet air, noise travels so much further. But look at the quince here, looking absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not sure if you can make out the pink flecks over here on a Winter King apple that I grafted years and years ago. I've been keeping it in a small pot, sort of pot bound really, but I think it needs to go into a bigger pot. The reason I've been keeping it in a small pot is because I didn't want it to grow too big whilst we weren't in our new home. But yeah, don't know how far our new home is yet. You know, our house isn't on the market. Whether it will be on the market this year, I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, look, importantly, it's raining with water from the skies, which will do all of our crops far more good than water from a watering can. Happy days. Bye. Good day. I was looking at these lily of the valley, which were one of Mum's favourite flowers, and been thinking a lot of Mum and Dad over the last few weeks. And then it occurred to me that Dad's birthday was earlier in the month and Mum's birthday would have been today, the 19th of April. And over here in our grow house, let's just lift it up a minute, we've got Mary and Bas here, or in fact Mary and Bas here, and I thought it was time that instead of them being in individual pots, oh look, snail in there for Mary, gently lift him off, he can go to the compost heap shortly. Instead of them being in separate pots, it was time that they were together in one pot, and I decided that the best place for them to be would be at the front of the shed here, so that I can see Mary and Bas each time I come into the shed, because they were so much a part of what I do now. You know, growing and gardening were absolutely at the heart of the enjoyment of Mum and Dad. And you may remember Mum pottering in her pots really up until she moved into the care home on the terrace, you know, on the patio area. She was always, let's have a weed of this, let's break that off a geranium and stick it in there and hopefully that'll propagate. So I thought this would be a good place to put those two geraniums, and I've just tidied it up a little bit, put that block of wood there with a bit of tile underneath to sort of keep it level, and now I'm going to pop them both up into here, and I'm sure we'll think of some other plants to go in there as well in the next week or so. But yeah, I'm just going to get on and do that. Right, that's Mary and Bas in, or in fact Bas and Mary. And I was going to put a plant in the middle, and I thought, no, keep Bas and Mary together because they were together for very many years. And that was the point of putting them into here. And as they both liked experiencing new things and seeing new plants, I've put into this side, you might just be able to see it there, a large yellow loosestrife, which I don't think Mum ever had, or Mum and Dad ever had. So I thought that would be nice, sort of growing up here, give a little bit of height here, but I'll keep it sort of tucked in. But yeah, that's Bas and Mary now in at the front of the shed. And in fact, from there, Mary can most probably look into the shed. So I better give it a tidy before she starts remarking on that. Yeah. This is the Winter King apple that I was talking about when I was in the shed the other day. Quite an old apple. I grafted it a good many years ago. The graft took. It's gone off at an angle, but yeah, I'm gonna put it into a bigger pot. Not a huge amount of roots down there, but I know after so many years in this pot that it could do with a larger one, so I'm just going to do that now. That has now been potted on into a round pot because that was the best size fit for this upsizing. So I mean I prefer square pots, but I didn't have any large enough. So, and what I've done, I'm not sure if you can see, if I do that my focus won't go too much. I've straightened it up a bit. We still have this one going off this way, but maybe we take that off next year and do another graft. But yeah, that's potted on into a bigger pot at the same depth as it was originally in the square pot. And I'm delighted to say I've just watered here and noticed, let me come over this way, I am sure that there is potato leaf from our Jersey Royals. So maybe those tiny Jersey Royals we put in are still growing under here, and one of them has broken the surface, which is lovely, 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 lovely. It's now 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Rather a lovely afternoon now. Really rather gorgeous, fantastic to work out there. There's a strong breeze, but that's quite nice as well. Lots of blossoms, lots of things for me to do. And since Tuesday I've been doing a lot of weeding, taking out couch grass, taking out bindweed, keeping on top of beds, because I really want to do that this year. Really want to keep on top of things. As I say, quite a lot of weeding over the last few days, bindweed and couch grass mainly, but also other annuals that have come up, which are just easy to pull out, like I did earlier in the week in the bed over there. And also I've been looking at things that have volunteer germinated. We've got calendula that has, we've got poppies that have, and I've moved them from a bed that I don't want them in to a bed that I do want them in, and have given them all a really good watering. And I've also taken some root of a yellow dead nettle, which is doing really well on my next door neighbour's plot here, and I planted that up. It's coming to the end of its flowering season now, so it's a good time to do it. I planted that into a couple of beds and hope that it will do okay. Oh, spider, I think. And we have also had a bulk purchase of something on the site. As you know, we very regularly bulk purchase compost and a few other things, and we've had a bulk purchase of these NamaKnight nematodes for slugs and snails. Well, slug control, it says. These are, unlike the nematodes that you buy generally, which are alive, these are dried, they're pelleted. So you put them around the base of plant and water them in. And unlike the slug pellets that you get that kill slugs, these release the nematodes into the ground, and hopefully those nematodes will go into the ground, proliferate and infect the slugs underneath the soil. So yeah, we've done a bulk purchase of this. I think these are about 30 quid or something in shops, and we got them for, I think it was 15 quid per tub, and quite a few people participated, and I collected them from the person who organized it all the other day, because she wasn't going to be around over the weekend, and I had about 12. I've just got 2 left now, which are being picked up by individual plot people over the coming days. So it will be interesting to see whether they work or not. I mean, the good thing about these is they have a shelf life. As long as you keep them, I think, dry and in the dark and relatively cool, they've got a shelf life of about 6 months because they're dried. With nematodes that you usually buy, that you then put into a watering can and add water and then water your ground with, those have a shelf life, I think, of only 3 weeks from you receiving them, and whenever you receive them you need to put them straight in the fridge until you're actually ready to use them. So yeah, the benefit of these pellets, nematode pellets, is that they have a longer shelf life. We will see whether any of them work. I have noticed that 2 of my broad beans and 1 of our brassicas, fortunately not the brassicas we put in a few weeks ago, they have been munched on by slugs or snails. So yeah, there we are. Anyway, this does need wet ground. They need to be put around the stalk of plant and then watered in for 3 days. So that's what I'm going to do, maybe next week. I haven't done any yet. I'll do some next week. We might just put them in a couple of beds and see how we do. That's about the only highly scientific experiment that I'm likely to be doing this year. Anyway, there we are. Lots of things to do. Germination is going well. We now have tomatoes up, and everything. In fact, let me just give you a quick look now. I will film it after this, but yeah. At the back here are tomatoes. You can see germination, and over there, and in the front here as well. Nothing in the dill. I only sowed some dill the other day. Nothing there. Nothing in our... Oh, no, that's not part. Well, that is something, but I don't think that's parsley in there. Nothing in our candelabra primulas. Not sure if they will come up. The red curry are doing pretty well. We've got quite a few germinated. There's 4 there not germinated yet. Cosmos still germinating. I can see another one having germinated at the back since I got down here. I must sort out this lettuce next week. The rocket, I can prick out some of those as well. And then courgettes, some more ground heave here. So 100% germination here so far, and 100% germination in the courgettes. That one I saw had broken the ground, or I saw some ground heave. Since I've been down here in the last couple of hours, that has come above the surface. And these are our later sowings of cucumbers, Vivi's cucumbers. Nothing there and nothing there yet, but yeah, pretty decent germination overall, and I'm very glad to see our tomatoes over there beginning to germinate. What I have noticed is that the red that I'm using, the red permanent marker I'm using, is not really, it's fading in the sunlight, so I'm going to need to find a black one or a pencil. I mean, this one here has got dill on. Oh, we can't see that, but it's a pencil that's got dill on. Maybe a pencil is the way to go. Pretty happy with that germination and the way things are growing, and I'm going to leave it there for this week's A Week at the Plot. I will be back on Planet Vegetaria through the week with further segments as I do them, and obviously there'll be another full upload in a week's time on YouTube. Whatever you are doing in your garden, your growing space or your allotment, I hope you are enjoying your time. I am certainly enjoying my time at the plot this year. In fact, I'm enjoying it more than I've enjoyed it for maybe 2 years. Maybe that was because we're not moving house at the moment, you know, so we're not, there aren't any immediate plans to move house, so I'm just getting on with the plot. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah. Right, any comments, any questions, please do leave them down below. Any suggestions too, please do that. And I will see you in a week's time on YouTube, and I'll see you in a few days' time on Planet Vegetaria. In the meantime, goodbye and happy growing. Bye.